Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you 10 things that you could do to your sunfish to make sailing better for 2024. Now let's get right down to it. The first and easiest thing that you can do, which is not that expensive, is get yourself a gooseneck adjuster. A gooseneck adjuster replaces the bolt in your gooseneck here on your boom. So what it does is you can move the gooseneck back and forth along the boom, and that can balance out your boat when you're sailing. So depending on your weight and your style of sailing and how much you want to hike, you could put the gooseneck at about 14, 15, or 17 inches, and those little bit of inches can make a difference. I made a video that shows you what to do and how to adjust the gooseneck and where to put it. So I'll leave a link of that video in the description below, so check it out. And the second thing you could do to upgrade your sunfish costs a little bit of money and investment, but it can make a really big difference on how you trim in the main sheet. And that, of course, is the main sheet ratchet block. This one here is an older Harkin block. I don't endorse any specific brand. Harkin makes them, and Ronstadt makes them, and a couple of other companies do make them. Generally what they do is they'll have these grooves in them so you could get more purchase on your sheet when you trim it in. And so when wind gets a little bit heavier, you could hold it in a little bit easier. So when you sail in all sorts of wind, it'll make it easier for you. You could also use it with a cleat, so you could jam the main sheet where you want it, and you don't have to hold it, but you got to be careful when you drive and when you tack. You should be able to adjust it. Or you could just go freehand like I do and let it flop around. So if you don't want to let it flop around, you could actually put this spring in there to let it stand up. Now, I made a video on this. I'm going to leave a link down in the description of the video. So if you want to upgrade from the hook, especially from an old sunfish to a modern ratchet block, go ahead and do that. So check that out. Now, the third thing you could do to upgrade your sunfish in 2024 is get a longer main sheet, where you could put a block on the bridle. You could go 2-to-1. Now, why would you want to get a 2-to-1 main sheet? In the last couple of years, the 2-to-1 main sheet has been made legal by the class association. It doesn't matter if you're a sunfish racer or a recreational sailor. This is a game changer for many people. So if you're a little bit on the small side, or if you're a little bit on the weaker side, or if you want to sail in big heavy winds, the 2-to-1 main sheet has been proven at world championships, for instance, by Caterina Romero, who's from Peru, who's an excellent sailor. Also, a smaller sailor like Amanda Callahan, who is the U.S. representative in the last Pan Am Games. She sometimes uses the 2-to-1 when the winds get a little heavy. And even a bigger, stronger man like Doug Kalkainen of New York, he also has the 2-to-1 main sheet in his arsenal. So when the wind picks up and he wants to get that extra leverage, he'll go to the 2-to-1. So the 2-to-1 main sheet, it is a game changer. It'll make you be able to sail in heavier winds for what you consider heavy, and it's going to change your sailing in 2024. I'd like to say thank you to all the watchers and subscribers and who support my channel and coming up to me in different events and different regattas all over the world. I've actually had some great feedback. And I just want to tell you, I do this for the love of sailing and sunfish sailing and give you information. I really appreciate all the support I've gotten, especially the on-water reports, and I really appreciate it. So if you haven't already yet, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And thanks for Paul DeMarco for giving me this awesome sunfish flag that you see here. So that was a really special gift. I went down to North Carolina and he gave it to me. So that means a lot. Thank you for all the support you guys have given me. And now for number 4. The fourth thing I recommend to upgrade your boat in if your boat does not have it already and it has just the wooden tiller or the wooden tiller extension just goes left and right, is I recommend you get a new extension with the rubber universal here. What this does, it lets you hold the tiller up high, up low, left and right, and so you get more maneuverability on your sailboat. You could also move forward in your sailboat, which possibly could give you better sailing performance, and also you could move around a little bit more and not have to lose the tiller. The old wooden tillers with the fixed tiller extension that just goes left and right forces you basically to sail in the back of the boat, and sometimes that's not the best thing to do because it unbalances the boat, especially going upwind. So check it out. It's a little bit of an investment. I'll leave a couple of descriptions down below. You can get these in many places. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but here's the rubber tiller extension that could attach to your wooden tiller, and that'll help in 2024. So moving along at number 5 is a big game changer. I've discussed it many times throughout the last couple of years, but I still recommend it as a top addition to your Sunfish, is to get a gens rig or a 2 halyard system, or just go with the longer single halyard. Now, I made a video, it's a little bit long, but it's a real popular video. I'm gonna leave that link in the description below. What the 2 halyard system or the gens rig is, it balances out the boat in all sorts of conditions. Along with the 2-to-1 main sheet, a ratchet block, and now with the gens rig, you might be able to sail in 5 more miles an hour conditions. And that might not sound like a lot, but if things get a little hairy at 12 miles an hour, you might be able to sail at 15, 16 miles an hour with the same amount of effort. And once you get a Sunfish sailing when it's in the mid-teens, you are in for a treat, because the sailboat, when it gets to the mid-teens, actually flies, and it's a lot of fun. So check out that video. I'm not going to go into the details on how to do it. I explained 4 different types, but check them out. I'll leave a link down in the description, and use the gens when possible. Some people use them all the time. Some people make adjustments. It's a game changer for the boat, so check that out. So the number 6 upgrade for your Sunfish in 2024 is a little bit of an investment. However, it can change the boat's characteristics of sailing a lot, and it'll make it easier to sail. It'll make it more balanced and faster. What I'm talking about is a plastic racing dagger board, or the newer boats actually come with these type of dagger boards standard now. But if you're getting a boat from the early 80s or the 70s that have the old wooden dagger board or the Barrington type of board, these dagger boards, which is kind of used, has a different shape, a different foil shape, and they're more hydrodynamic. Now, some of them have a handle. This is an older one. The newer ones do not have a handle, but if you get any sort of plastic type of dagger board like this, it's going to be relatively even as far as speed is concerned from one year to the other, from the last, I would say, 20 years. So if it has a handle or not, and you're trying to just upgrade, you could find them used, or you could find them in a lot of the Sunfish parts dealers. Even if you're a recreational sailor or a racer, it'll make your boat faster, and it'll make it point higher, and it'll just make sailing that much more enjoyable. And it's nice to have that handle there. Now, if you really want to go a little bit more extreme, there's a company that makes dagger boards that are not class legal, but they still will fit the Sunfish. So I'm talking about AeroSouth Technologies. Now, this dagger board right here is a different shape from this dagger board. You're not allowed to use it for any class legal racing. AeroSouth claims that it has less drag, and if it's something like you like to tinker around with, try it out if you want to. It's a little bit of an investment, similar to a racing dagger board that's class legal, but just warned, if you wanted to race like a Sunfish class or ISCA class legal event, you will not be allowed to use that dagger board. But some people like to experiment, so by all means, check it out. Now, what goes hand in hand with the dagger board, I'm going to call number 7, and that is the dagger board retaining elastic cord or a bungee cord. What I like about this bungee cord is that it holds the board up. A lot of the older wooden boards just came with a string, and it doesn't do anything other than keep the board with the boat when you capsize. And you will capsize, and you don't want the board to fall away. However, by using one of these elastic bungee cords, it'll help keep the board up if you're lifting it up, or if you want to use it as a JC strap, and you could attach it to the front of your boom, and you could pull the sail in if it's a little bit light wind. But I like this. It's only a couple of bucks. You could get them in many sailboat shops or West Marine or even a hardware store. It's a thin bungee cord, like you get like 8-9 feet, and that'll be plenty. And you could attach it to your Daggerboard, or you could attach it to your wooden board, and that really helps. It's a nice upgrade, very inexpensive. Now, the 8th thing that you could upgrade your boat in 2024 is a mast cleat. Now, why would anyone want a mast cleat? There's a couple of reasons, especially if you use a 2 halyard system. A mast cleat is very, very nice to have, because you could lift up your sail, you could cleat it off really quickly right on the mast, and then you could use your other halyards if you want to. But a mast cleat can be drilled with screws right into your mast, use a little silicone to make it watertight, or you could use rivets, or you could use a pipe clamp. I made a video. I've used it for several major regattas, and I do like the mast cleat. I've also said the mast cleat can make a weak spot in your mast, especially if you don't rinse it or if there's water in there. So try to rinse your boat and your mast cleat so it'll last longer. But I do like it. You could get a 4-inch cleat, pipe clamp, and just attach it to that. I'll leave a link of that video in the description below. Check it out, and then you'll have another thing that's easy to upgrade, and it'll make your life a lot easier, especially when you're lifting up the sail and just want to tie it off really quickly. Now, number 9 should actually be number 1 in my opinion, because this upgrade is not really an upgrade. They've been around for as long as sailing has been invented. And what I'm talking about are sail telltales. That are little woolies on your sail, or little ribbons that show you how the wind is flowing. Now, if you know how the wind is flowing across your sail from front to back or from back to front, you will become a better sailor, more efficient, faster, and easier to go where you want to go. Without telltales, it's like trying to sail blind. But with telltales, you're seeing the wind flow over your sails, so it's an eye-opener. I've sailed without telltales at a regatta once, and that was the worst regatta I've ever sailed. And the next regatta I sailed, I had telltales, and I was pointing 15-20 degrees higher. I was faster. And some people don't sail with telltales, but once you get telltales, there's less of excuses of not sailing as close to the wind or as efficient. They're easy to put on. And again, I made a video before, and I'll leave a link in the description below. And the last thing, number 10, is not something that you have to add to your boat for 2024. Have better enjoyment on your boat, is to plan a date where you can get your boat on the water, in the water, a lot earlier than what you did in 2023. What this does is shoot for something. Like if you're looking for July 4th of last year, don't sail on July 4th and get your boat out on July 3rd, because something is always missing. And then by the time you get it, you're on the water in the middle of July. Shoot for when the weather gets warm. Shoot for spring. Shoot for, depending on what area of the country, you got to be careful. First of all, always wear your PFD. And then in April or May, the water still might get cold, so make sure, take into consideration safety. But go out in late May. Go out in June. Get your feet wet. Get the boat wet. A lot of people buy boats. Scott Schilling knows somebody, and they get inundated with trying to upgrade everything and make everything perfect. Get the boat out, rig it up, get on the water, sail for 15 minutes, half hour, shake it all out, make sure you're going to break something or need something. Keep close to shore the first time you sail it. Get back in after 15, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever you do, and then make a list of what you need to upgrade, and then go. But if you do it in May and June, I can guarantee you're going to have a better 2024 because you'll be on the water more with these upgrades that you know what's going to work or not work by testing them out on the water. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you know anyone that could benefit from this information, please share the video with those people. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you like that, check out this video right here, and I'll see you on the water.